and welcome back to me, Ryla, doing anything I like. Why am I dressed like this, you ask? Well, it's spooky season, so of course I had to dress like a pumpkin. We interrupt this video to let you know that yes, it was filmed 6 months ago during Halloween of 2020. Unfortunately, I didn't get this video edited last year. It is now 2021, and I'm here to show you how I hand-sewed a dress. Well, I was inspired by this dusty bag of fabric and Micarah Tewers. I am going to try and create this dress out of this fabric. Do I know what this fabric is? No. Do I know whose it is? No. I have no idea where it came from. We just found it in a closet in our apartment. So do I know how to make a dress? No. Do I have a sewing machine? I don't. Has Micarah Tewers given me a false sense of abilities? Absolutely. So, do you think I can hand sew this material into a dress? I guess we're going to find out. And so the fun begins. Here I am with my mysterious fabric sheet thing, trying to lay it flat to cut it out. And the struggle begins here. This isn't working. I need a flat surface. Once I had acquired a flat surface, I grabbed my template dress and laid it flat on top of my mysterious fabric. Admittedly, I also had some trouble here, but we got there in the end. Once you've gotten your dress exactly where you want it, make sure and smooth it down, smooth like my legs on the first hot day in summer. Then trace your donor dress that you're not actually cutting up, just tracing the outside of. Trace all around it with pen and make sure you have the exact outline. You don't want a seam allowance, that would be silly. And here is where you can see I am not using any correct rules of measurement. I am just using my scissors to cut all the way around the skirt shape that I think is appropriate. Have my bottom bits. Now I'm going to do the top part, which I really have no clue what it is that I'm doing. I think I'm going to fold it this way and do whatever this is. Oh, and these are the scissors I'm using. These are also the scissors that I cut my hair with in my my haircut video. They're manicure scissors. There's a great story behind those scissors. I now have to trace the part of the dress that keeps my modesty. And for this, I took out my trusty pen and traced my donor design dress once again without seam allowance. Here you can see me using my trusty manicure scissors and cutting out the gingerbread house wall shaped piece. Then I realigned my fabric and cut about an egg carton shaped rectangle width and lengthwise for my back piece. I need straps because this has straps on it, but these are adjustable. I kind of want to make ones that tie, so I have no idea. I wonder if I should just use some of the, should I just use the hem? I wonder if that would work. The hem and sew it together so it's like...
The hem seems stronger, and this material is metal, so it's like...
I think I'm just gonna do that. Is that a cheat way? I don't know. I gingerly cut the end of the hem and cut down in a strip. And I'm going to use this, without ripping because ripping was a bad idea, as my straps. And this is what I have. I'm ready to make this dress. I think this might work, and if not, I've got plenty more fabric to choose from. So I also only have 3 pins, so I'm going to really do this slowly. And I'm going to pin it together. Now I'm going to attempt to hand sew the layers together. This is going to be interesting. Look, I was just kneeling on this. Look what it did to my knees. Ew! Alright, I don't know what to do about that. I'm gonna start stitching it together. So the lighting in here is not great. That's much better lighting when I put my hair up. I'm in business. Everybody's in the bathrooms, so I am just going to wet wipe my knees, hoping it helps. Whilst I could manage to think about whilst I was cleaning my knees with a fried chicken wet wipe was the first oranges weren't orange, they were green. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Ew. I think I made it worse. Several hundred wet wipes later, and we have made some progress. Enough that I think we can start sewing. Whatever. I am gonna attempt to start sewing now. This thread that I bought for $1.59. My little tiny sewing kit. This is like the hardest part. Once you have finally managed to put that pesky little thread through that pesky little needle hole, you can begin sewing. Do I do a double thread? I'm gonna go with double. Because why not? Two's always better than one.
So I think I'm going to do the top pieces together first. Maybe I'll just start at the top.
I feel like I already made a mistake. But look, that's okay. Because what does it matter? It doesn't. Oh, that was the wrong way. Backtrack. This is where you want to make sure that your stitches are about an ant's length each stitch. Alright, that's one side done. Now to continue that on the other side of the top of the thing. I continued sewing using the ant measurement as a guide all the way down the other side. Once I got to the end, I flipped it inside out. There we go. And checked to make sure it covered my modesty section. You know, that part that if we don't have it, we get demonetized. Anyway, we're moving on to the other side of the top now. The best part? They deliver right to my door. Script 1. Going to the grocery store used to stress me out. And here we are, back to the dress. Right now, I am using a card to measure out a straight line from the top of the skirt to the bottom of the skirt. And admittedly, this is probably where I messed up the most because I did not leave seam allowance, and doing this down the side, while it helped me do a straight line, it did lose a lot of fabric in the process. So if I were to do this again, I would definitely include seam allowance.
First question to both of you tonight. Why are you right and make the argument you make and your opponent wrong? And where do you think a Justice ballot would take the court?
As you can see, I have just woken up. Got all the panels done last night. I'm in a shower and I'll get back to you. And we're back. And in true Micarah Tewers fashion, I procrastinated. Now I'm ready. I have my tools, my little sewing kit, the original dress, and this is what I have, and I'm going to sew it together. And I'm going to show you guys how I do it. I don't really know what I'm doing. So these are gonna be the straps. And I think I might leave them like that because they're kind of cute. For a full tutorial on how to make a dress by hand, please visit www.micarahtowersmademethink-I-could-sew.com. Here are my pieces. I'm gonna have to
attach one panel first, and then like the top to the skirt, and then so I can stretch the skirt at the top of it so that it's like the right length, and then the back to the top of the back.
You following me?
And then it'll still be inside out, so then sew the whole thing together.
And then add the straps. that is my theory as to how this is going to work. So let's see what actually happens. Admittedly, even I was confused by what I just said, but after watching this video over and over editing it, what I can tell you is that I think I made the top back smaller by measuring it against the skirt and sewing it where I think it should finish. Then I trimmed all the excess off, placed the skirt inside the top panel of the back, and pinned it with my 3 pins. Okay, so I pinned this all together and it looks great. After realizing that I was talking nonsense and had absolutely no idea what I was doing, I continued to sew the top to the bottom of the back skirt. In the end, I decided that flipping it inside out was the right decision, but we were still missing the seam allowance. Now that I've sewn my bottom part to my top part of my back part, I have to repeat that process with the top part of my front part and the bottom part of my front part. So just one more time. Well, I successfully look a mess and my camera ran out of storage space, but I did manage to sew the front top onto the front bottom part of the dress, and I'll show you what that looks like. I have completed the back and completed the front. But I knew it needed to come out wider at these points, so I put some little darts in, which you can see there. Just folded it and sewed it down, and that's where we're at. So we've got a front and a back. Now we've got to put them together. Don't know what's going on with my hair. It's humidity. It's cute, kind of hides my pimple, so that's nice.
I'm going to turn this one inside out and lay it outside facing out, and then the right side facing together.
For all these sewing things I've seen, it says right sides together, and that literally means the front of your garment with the front of the back of your garment. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Now, I don't have enough pins to try this on myself because I only have 3 pins. But I have checked it up against the other dress that I have, and it does have the seam allowance, I hope. So that's what we're gonna do, and then we're gonna put the straps on and we're gonna see if it works. Here I am putting my 3 pins to good use and sewing all the way down the sides of my dress. I was using this, I don't know what to call it, let's call it an overlocker stitch. I figured it would be more secure, and it would also make up for the fact that I didn't leave any room for seam allowance. Hey guys, so I did a fitting. I tried the dress on. There was a little bit of a snafu, a little bit of a sound, but it fits. It's a little snug. I may actually put something here. I'm gonna get ready and give you guys a grand reveal. Stop! So it has been a while since I actually made this dress and filmed this video, but I washed it and dried it, and I mean, she's still together, she's still intact, so I call this a successful dress. Yeah! Probably will never wear it, but whatever. I did it.